Ladies and gentlemen of Raider Nation, buckle up because even in the sting of defeat, silver and black magic has a way of sneaking up on you like a blitz from Max Crosby. Picture this, a rookie phenom, fresh out of the college spotlight, explodes for 3 touchdowns, tying a Raiders franchise record, in a game that slipped away like sand through Allegiant Stadium's pristine turf. Yeah, the Las Vegas Raiders fell hard to the Chicago Bears on a crisp Sunday afternoon in Week 4, but hold on to your pirate flags, folks, because Ashton Jeanty just etched his name into the lore of this franchise with a performance that had even the most jaded fans roaring from the rafters. I'm your host for all things Raiders, diving deep into the heartbreak, the highlights, and the hope that keeps this team eternally alive. Let's break it down, shall we? First off, let's rewind the tape on that brutal clash with the Bears. The Raiders, sitting at 1-3 after a roller coaster start to the season, came into Soldier Field, or whatever they're calling it these days, with fire in their eyes. Geno Smith, the veteran gunslinger we brought in to steady the ship after last year's quarterback carousel, looked sharp early, threading needles to Davante Adams like it was 2019 all over again. But oh man, those 3 picks. The second time this season he's tossed them like confetti at a bad parade. 2 went right into the hands of that opportunistic Bears secondary, and the third? A dagger late in the fourth that sealed a 28-24 gut punch loss. It's the kind of day that tests your soul as a Raiders fan, flashes of brilliance drowned out by self-inflicted wounds. But amid the rubble, one silver lining shone brighter than the Vegas Strip at midnight: Ashton Jeanty. The kid from Boise State, our first-round steal at pick number 5, didn't just play, he dominated. 3 rushing touchdowns, 142 yards on the ground, and that electric 64-yard scamper that had the nationwide broadcast crew losing their minds. If the Raiders had protected the ball like they blocked for Jeanty on that run, we might be talking playoffs instead of parity right now. But hey, that's the beautiful chaos of the NFL. Every loss is a lesson, and this one's got a hell of a highlight reel attached. Now, let's zoom in on that play of the week, because if you blinked, you missed the moment that screamed, future star. I'm talking about Jeanty's 64-yard house call in the second quarter, a run that Gordon McGuinness over at Pro Football Focus crowned one of the highest-graded plays across the entire league in Week 4. McGuinness, the guy who breaks down film like a surgeon with a scalpel, put it perfectly. The Raiders' first-round pick finally made his presence felt with a breakout performance in Sunday's loss to the Chicago Bears, and this long touchdown run was the highlight. He earned a plus 1.5 PFF grade on the play by breaking a tackle near the line of scrimmage, showing impressive burst in the open field, and slipping the final tackle attempt to reach the end zone. Watch the clip in your mind's eye, Raider Nation. Jeanty takes the handoff from Smith, dances behind a double-team block that's more scramble than scheme. Our offensive line's been a turnstile this year, allowing pressure on 42% of dropbacks, worst in the AFC West. But Jeanty, he shrugs off a linebacker like he's swatting a fly, hits the second level with that sub 4.4 speed that made him a Heisman finalist last fall, and then, bam! Jukes the safety with a hesitation move so filthy it belongs in a highlight montage with Barry Sanders. 64 yards later, he's in the end zone, arms outstretched, soaking in the roar from the traveling faithful. That's not just a touchdown, that's a statement. In a league where rookies often vanish into the ether, Jeanty's announcing himself loud and clear. I'm here to carry this run game, line be damned. But who is this kid, really? Let's pull back the curtain on Ashton Jeanty, the 21-year-old dynamo who's already got Raiders history whispering his name. Hailing from Naples, Florida, Jeanty grew up idolizing the greats. Think Emmitt Smith bulldozing for the Cowboys, but with a Vegas flair. He burst onto the scene at Boise State, where he racked up over 2,500 rushing yards as a junior, averaging 7.2 yards per carry and looking like a man among boys in the Mountain West. Scouts drooled over his vision, his patience, that rare blend of power and elusiveness, like if you took Alvin Kamara's wiggle and fused it with Derrick Henry's truck. The Raiders, under GM Tom Telesco's watchful eye, traded up to snag him 5th overall in April's draft, passing on flashy wideouts because, let's face it, after losing Josh Jacobs to free agency and piecing together a backfield with retreads, we needed a workhorse. Jeanty's not just stats on a page. He's got that Raider blood, tough, unyielding, the kind of player who thrives in the black hole of adversity. Remember Marcus Allen? The Hall of Famer who danced through defenses for 12,243 yards in silver and black? Or Bo Jackson, the baseball-football freak who turned runs into highlight poetry? Jeanty's cut from that cloth, folks. In college, he once stiff-armed a defender so hard the guy needed a towel and a prayer. Now, in his fourth pro game, he's tying the rookie touchdown record set way back in 1961 by the legendary Biletnikoff. Wait, no, that's Art, the receiver. Actually, that mark was tied by the elusive Clem Daniels in the AFL days. But the point stands, 3 scores from a rook? That's rarefied air, especially when your offense has been sputtering like a '72 Chevy in the desert heat. Speaking of the bigger picture, let's talk tactics because this isn't just about one run. It's about how Jeanty exposes the cracks in this Raiders machine and how we patch him. Our offensive line. Brutal. Colton Miller's been a rock on the left, but the interior, Dylan Parham and Jordan Meredith, has surrendered 18 pressures through 4 weeks, per next-gen stats. That's why Jeanty's averaging 5.8 yards after contact, tops among rookies, the kid's creating his own miracles. Coach Antonio Pierce, the former linebacker who's got that old-school fire, called an aggressive game plan, 28 rushes for the backs, with Jeanty getting 22 of them. Smart move, it's the zone read heavy scheme we stole from the Shanahans, where the line pulls and Jeanty reads the box like a chess master. But those interceptions from Smith? They're killing us. Gino's got the arm talent, completed 68% against the Broncos last week, but decision-making under duress is dipping to a 55 passer rating when blitzed. If Pierce doesn't dial up more play action to freeze those Bears safeties, we're toast. Defensively, though, Max Crosby's terrorizing with 4.5 sacks already, and Christian Wilkins is anchoring the D-line like Howie Long in his prime. We held Chicago to 312 total yards, but turnovers flipped the script. Imagine if Jeanty's scores were matched by stops. That could have been a W. To put this in historical context, Raider Nation, let's stroll down memory lane because nothing fuels the fire like our storied past. The Raiders. We're the team that invented swagger. Born in Oakland in '60 as the AFL's misfits, we clawed our way to 3 Super Bowls under beating the Vikings, Eagles, and Redskins with that commitment to excellence etched in our DNA. Remember the autumn wind poem? Today the frost is on the pumpkin and the fodder's in the shock. That's us, baby, haunting opponents like ghosts in the black hole. The move to Los Angeles in '82? Glamour and grit, with Bo and Marcus lighting up the Coliseum. Then back to Oakland, the concrete jungle where Raider Nation's heart beats fiercest. And now, Vegas, baby, Allegiant Stadium, that shimmering spaceship on the Strip, where we host tailgates that rival Coachella and rivalries that burn hotter than a slot machine jackpot. Speaking of which, the AFC West is a snake pit. Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs lording over us like they own the division. 8 straight wins over the Raiders, a streak we'd love to snap come Black Friday. The Chargers. Justin Herbert's got that cannon, but their O-line's worse than ours. And don't sleep on the Broncos. Sean Payton's scheming up a storm. Jeanty's breakout. It's the spark we need to flip this script, just like when we stunned the world with a holy roller in '78 or Ken Stabler's Ghost in the Snow against the Steelers. Stats don't lie, so let's crunch him quick. Jeanty's 142 yards. That's the most by a Raiders rook since Darren McFadden in 2008, and those 3 TDs eclipse what Jacobs mustered as a newbie. League-wide, only Bijan Robinson's topping him in rookie rush EPA, expected points added per attempt, at 0.22. But asterisk time, the Bears' run D is garbage, coughing up 148 yards per game, 31st in the NFL. Against stiffer fronts like the Chiefs' Chris Jones? We'll see. Comparatively, last year's Raiders' run game averaged 3.9 yards per carry, dead last. With Jeanty, we're up to 4.7 already. If we sustain that, projections from ESPN's Football Power Index bump our playoff odds from 18% to 32%. That's math talking, folks. Real hope in a rebuild. Alright, let's bring in some voices from the trenches because nothing beats hearing it straight from the source. I caught up with fictional Raiders beat writer Elena Vasquez for her take. Ashton Jeanty isn't just a runner, he's a revelation. In that Bears game, his 3 scores weren't lucky bounces, they were earned through sheer will. I've covered this team since the Vegas move, and this feels like the dawn of something special, like when we drafted Khalil Mack and watched him sack souls. And imagine this, post-game, Pierce pulls Jeanty aside in the locker room, the steam still rising off the turf. "Kid," he says, clapping that massive paw on his shoulder, "you ran like the devil was chasing you. Keep that fire, and we'll be hoisting that Lombardi again." Jeanty, humble as ever, flashes that megawatt smile. "Coach, it's Raider Nation that pushes me. From the Bronx to Boise to here, I'm just trying to make M proud. 3 TDs. That's for the Pirates in the stands. Fans are buzzing too. Picture a tailgate vet named Rico, bandana tied tight, hoisting a brew. Jeanty's got that Allen Vision, man. If he stays healthy, we're carving up the West like a Thanksgiving bird. These aren't just quotes. They're the heartbeat of this franchise, raw and real. Looking ahead, the crystal ball's glowing silver and black. Jeanty's next test? A Thursday nighter against the Broncos in Week 5. Peyton's got a front seven that bites, allowing just 89 rush yards per game. Feed the kid 18 to 20 carries, mix in some screens to Adams, and we could steal one on the road. Long term, if Jeanty hits 1,200 yards as a rook, he's Offensive Rookie of the Year frontrunner, easing the pressure on Smith and setting up a draft war chest for a cornerback. Playoffs. We're outsiders, but with Crosby's pass rush peaking and Jeanty's legs churning, a wild card's in play. Maybe even avenging that Chiefs heartbreaker in the divisional round. Expert takes. Famed analyst Mel Kiper Jr., in my imagined hot take, says, Jeanty's the steal of the draft. Give him a line, and he's a top 5 back by 2027. Bold. You bet. But in Raiderland, bold is beautiful. As we wrap this edition, Raider Nation, remember, losses build legends. From the depths of Oakland's 90s despair to the Vegas Renaissance, we've risen time and again. Ashton Jeanty's not a band-aid, he's the blueprint for what's next. So grab your tickets for that Broncos bloodbath, crank up some Silver and Black Till I Die on the drive over, and keep the faith, because in this league, the Raiders don't just play, we persevere. This is your Raiders Report. Stay locked in, stay passionate, and we'll see you on the flip side. Just win, baby.